All right, we're going live. You listen. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. Bear with me. All right. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yashab Barakatham. Yahweh Shemar Thab Bashim Yashab. Priest and officer of 1,000 Yadiah. I'm covering the class for priest and captain of 10,000 Ahmad Yashar. Now, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. This is the Brotherhood class. You gotta understand, man, Brotherhood is key to every black, Latino, and so-called Native American Indian for this reason. First of all, we have to understand what Brotherhood actually is, man. You have to understand just how important Brotherhood is. Because black man, Latino man, and woman, I can tell you, you're not gonna find Brotherhood out there in the world. The problem is out there in the world, man, in the oppressive society, you know what I mean? You're gonna think that you got so-called day one niggas. You gonna think you got brothers and sisters that's down with you forever, you know what I mean, till you die. But you'll find yourself being more loyal than they are. And ask yourself, damn, why is everybody so fake? How come I can't find nobody as real as me? That's because you're not in the UPK, brother. It's because you're not in the UPK system. This is where the real reside, man, since 1969. If you're not in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, you are not in the truth. Understand this, man. And which is so heavy, and why people don't, why people have to understand. I want everybody to go into Mark the 12th chapter. If I could in the car, read Mark 12, right? It start at verse 30. Also, if y'all have any questions online, type your questions in. I'll be answering your questions tonight. The title was interracial marriage. I'm going to go into interracial marriage, you know what I mean, in a little bit. But first, I want to, you know what I mean, talk about brotherhood and show, you know what I mean, what real brotherhood is according to the Most High. Read what you got, starting Mark 12 and verse 30, Bubba Kashaw.
The book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 30. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. Your heart is your mind. This right here, all this does is pump blood. Your heart is this right here. It's that mind that you have, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Read on.
And with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength.
With all thy soul and all thy mind, meaning with everything that is in you, love the Most High God, Yahweh, man. That's the first thing that we have to understand. Read on.
This is the first commandment.
This is the first commandment. This is the first thing our God wants us to understand and do. This is the first commandment. Read on.
Verse 31. And the second is like, namely this.
Now the second is like, namely this. This is the second commandment, which is namely this. Read on.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Thou shalt what?
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Now I know what you're thinking. Some of you that are just Christian out there in your mind and your soul. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, you see, Yadiah, your neighbor can be Bill McGillicuddy. Your neighbor can be Susie and Becky. That is not your neighbor, black man, Latino man, and woman. Your neighbor that Christ is speaking about here is that fellow black man, Latino man, and First Nation man and woman. And the scriptures say precept must be upon precept, line upon line. If I could in the car, can you give me Leviticus 19 and verse 17? Let me show you in the Bible, because they're going to come at you and say, well, your neighbor could be anybody. Let me show you according to the Bible, you know what I mean, that your neighbor is talking about your brother and your sister, that fellow Israelite of antiquity, that black man, that Latino man, and First Nation man and woman. We have this conception that we have to have brotherhood with all races of people when these other nations don't give a damn about us, black man, Latino man, and woman. They don't. And they show that they don't care about us by how they treat us, by how they deal with us, by how they come in our neighborhoods and rape and rob us of our resources and kill us in cold blood, murder us, and black man, Latino man, and woman, show no mercy or empathy for it whatsoever.
Right.
Mercy and empathy needs to be for our own people, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. I'm gonna go into that as well. But first, let me show you that your neighbor is your brother. Read.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
Let's understand this real quick. This is the first thing that we have to learn as blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians, because I'm guilty of this too. When the Lord said, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart," do not get me wrong. I know Israel can get on your damn nerves. Trust me, I know Israel. Listen, our people got a way. You know what I mean? They're getting on our damn nerves, coming at us all crazy, high out they mind the car. But the Lord said, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart." We're not supposed to hate one another. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. That's the number one problem with our people. We hate each other so much that we're so quick to wrath against our people. We are. It's very, and this is what I need everybody to understand. It's very easy to lay hands on your brother and lay hands on your sister or cuss them out or want to do wrong or evil to them for something that they may have done to us. That's why the Lord is saying, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart." Eliminate hate from our own people, man. First of all, I know what the Christian church says. Talk about, well, you know, you're not supposed to hate anyway. The Lord, man, listen, King David said, "I hate what I hate, Lord." We hate what the Lord hates. You know what I mean? In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says it's a time for love, a time for hate, and a time for all things. But there's one thing you can't do, black man, Latino man, and woman. Our God is telling us we cannot hate one another. That's why God said in Leviticus 19 and 17, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart." Meaning, you have any hatred for a fellow Israelite, for a fellow black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, you best get it out of you. You best get that thought out of your mind. You best get it out. Because our God said, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart." Read on.
And not suffer sin upon him.
And not suffer sin upon him. That's the problem. Our people get so upset with each other, man. You wishing sin on your brother and sister, man. Can't do that. You can't suffer sin, suffer destruction upon our own people, man. Read on.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children.
Now let's start over. Read that again. Thou shalt not what?
Avenge. Thou
shalt not avenge. What does it mean, thou shalt not avenge? Meaning this. Meaning this. Somebody does you wrong, man. Don't try to avenge that wrong. When I say somebody, I'm talking about your brother. I'm talking about your sister, that fellow black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. It says, "Thou shalt not avenge." I understand, man. Like we in the car, we done had some people do some grimy stuff to us. Stuff that we normally would not tolerate if we was in the world. But we not in the world, man. That's why Christ told us, man, be ye in the world, but not of it. This is why our God gave us laws, statutes, and commandments, man. This is brotherhood right here. Don't avenge. Read on.
Not avenge, nor bear any grudge.
Nor bear any grudge. Meaning, don't hold this against your brother. Don't hold it against your sister. We have to understand, man, and have some empathy. Our people are destroyed. You want to know why they're angry? You want to know why they self-medicate themselves with pills and oxy and getting high off that weed and sip lean in the car? You want to know why they do that? Black man, Latino man, we want our people to do that because they are destroyed. Right. And who's the real reason why our people are destroyed? Who's doing it to our people? Who's the one that pumps the drugs in our communities, man? It's the oppressor. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Don't bear a grudge against our people. You cannot do that. You cannot hold it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read this. This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. Ephesians 4 and 26 says, "Be ye angry and sin not." You can be angry at a situation. You can be angry at a fellow brother just to be like, "Damn, man, But you also got to take those proper precautions, man, that the Lord told us to, man. That our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach reiterated and said, man. Pull that brother to the side. You can be ye angry and sin not. And not sin. You can be upset. You can be angry about something and sin not. Read knowing it says, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Meaning, don't be angry. Don't be wrathful. You know what I mean? While the sun goes down on it. Meaning, don't continue to harbor on to that anger that you may have, man. Don't continue to do that. Let it go. Let it go. And I'm going to explain why. Read on.
Come on.
Bear any grudge.
Come, Salakia. Thing popped up. All right. But thou, Salakia, not nor bear any grudge against the people of thy, Salakia, against the children of thy people.
Against the children of thy people. Meaning you're not supposed to bear any grudge against the children of thy people. Meaning this black man, Latino man, and woman, a fellow Israelite, you cannot bear a grudge against our people, man. The Lord put this in the law for a reason. Don't hold it to that brother's head, man. Don't hold it to that sister's head. Let it go. Understand that our people are just as destroyed as we are, man. But the thing is, we have this truth. We know better. That's why it's important to understand that the Lord is saying, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge. Don't avenge your wrong that your people did unto you, man. Or any grudge against the children of thy people. Read on.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
But thou shalt what?
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The Lord is saying that thy neighbor is the children of our people, man, of thy people. That fellow black man, that Latino man and woman, that First Nation man and woman. That brother says something foul to you, you know what I mean, walking down the street or at the slavery, that sister disrespected you, let it go. Right. You ain't supposed to bear no grudge against the children of thy people. Love that brother. Love that sister. Because the Lord said so. Go ahead, Dakar.
If I could, I had a situation today, we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And even when, upset, highly upset, you know what I'm saying? To the point where I thought that you might have try to cross the line. Like, I'm still going to be a brother to him.
Right.
I forgive him. Mm-hmm. I just move off from different now. Mm-hmm. I move accordingly to, according to the conclusion of the brother. But this is the issue that's in our community. Mm-hmm. We don't know how to love one another. We high off of drugs, so we ain't thinking clearly, killing one another. Right. These type of things happen. You understand? When we don't have the Bible governing us.
Right. And what is so heavy about what you're saying, man, is that more of our people need to be like that in the car and have that mindset. And that's why the UPK is essential under Commander General Yohana. Because a lot of our people think that way. You're quick to say, well, I love God. I love Jesus. But you hate your fellow brother. You hate your sister. And God said you can't do that. Let's go to 1 John 4:20, Bubba, for sure. Because they say that in the Christian church all the time. They do. You'll make a case, right, for loving the oppressor. You'll make a case for loving the other nations, the Africans, the Asians, Futu Nungala, the Black Panther. But here's the problem. You'll hate your own people. And you can't do that, black man, Latino man, and woman. Now we're going to read it out the so-called New Testament in the book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20.
It's the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If any man say, I love God.
If any man say, I love God. Because they all say they love God. Everybody's mama, everybody's auntie and sister and grandpa all claim that they love God. Your pastor is in church right now prancing like a homosexual. Talking about, well, I love God. Jesus, I met Jesus last Thursday on December 22nd. You mean to tell me that nigga ain't paying his tithes? Bishop Williams, get that nigga out of my church. Who the hell he think he is? You know he got paid last Thursday. Go ahead.
If I could, hey, I need you. Keep it down. Hold it down. So I seen this post where a brother was like, the pastor was like, yeah, I need some money to get this new jet or something like that, new car. And then the next one was like, Sister Betty need
Operation.
She need an operation. And they was like, let's pray for her. I was like, that's nice. That's definitely facts. Like that's sad because, and that's the narrative. Christians, like not all narratives. Okay, most narratives is on point, but that right there, having that type of reputation on the face of the earth is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like most things people say about the ISUK, y'all crazy. Y'all a cult. And you can't say that we selling drugs, killing people. You can't say that we get high. We beat on people and all that. You can't say that. They can't even say that we fight each other. Because we don't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people just gotta tighten up.
What's heavy about what you're saying, and we're just like when a police officer in the car is bringing out is heavy. I told a brother in my slavery today. Brother in my slavery came to me and was like, "You're dying." He was like, "I appreciate you and what you've been telling me. How is your organization? How are you the truth? What do y'all do for our people? How can I be a better man?" I said, "Because my pastor said that y'all cult, that y'all hate everybody." I said, "Brother, how do we hate everybody?" I said, "We went down there to Acuna, Mexico, and the Del Rio, Texas to feed our Haitian brothers and sisters. Did your pastor go?" He said, "No." I brought up you. I said, "This brother right here, preaching officer in the car, y'all may not know, the car is in charge of the food program in Philadelphia and does an excellent job, by the way. And not just in Philadelphia, but for Trenton, New Jersey, feeding our people. Like the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana feeds hundreds and hundreds of thousands of blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians all across the earth and has raised up powerful priests and prophets in this truth to do something." What does your pastor do? Besides prance around like a homosexual. Besides rob us of our resources. We got to pay for Pastor Rufford's jet. But if my mother needs an operation, we got to pray? That's the problem with the Christian church. That's why you have to come into the ISUPK. This is where real brotherhood lies. You're not going to find brotherhood nowhere else. And they talk a good game. They all say, "I love God." But what do? The car shows that he loves the Most High. He goes out there and feeds the people every week. Officer Zarwai shows that he loves God. He goes out there and teaches the poor and downtrodden of blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians in Trenton, New Jersey. What does your pastor do besides get high and mess with whores? I'll wait. Go ahead, Nicole.
If I could, what you're saying is so heavy because like being in a Christian church, we just seen a pastor get punched on.
Yeah.
A pastor got punched on. There was another video that we posted on ISUK Philly TikTok where the pastor, and on Instagram, ISUK.Philly.
Follow, by the way.
Yeah, most times correct. The pastor got confronted by a brother that was in the congregation saying, "Yeah, here go the pastor that be in my wife DM, saying all types of crazy stuff to my wife."
Woo!
He pulled up and the pastor he didn't say nothing. And him knowing the word of God, he knows that he should have spoken to that brother and made it clear through brotherhood. "Listen, brother, I am not in your wife's DM." Or he would apologize for what he did because, okay, you got court. The right thing to do is to apologize and never do it again. You know what I mean? But that's the Christian church doesn't produce that type of men. It don't produce righteousness. It just produces song and dances and single black
Right.
independent woman. It produces what you see in the neighborhood today. So,
It does, and which is heavy, man. Like all people need to understand. That's every pastor. What pastor is not you? You should expect if your wife is still going to church, the pastor is talking to her. You have to assume the worst. The pastor is sleeping with her. That's what they do in the Christian church. That's what they do in the Muslim mosque, and they all claim that they love God. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm gonna be very real. If you are a brother out there and you think that it is a badge of honor to sleep with a married woman, you're a homosexual. You are. You are. You're a homosexual. And you're an evil, disgusting sinner, a monster. For this reason. Because if you offend in one sin, you offend in them all. That's in the book of James, man. You're not supposed to lust after a woman. You're not supposed to sit with another man's wife. Who does that cut? Cut your pastor. It cuts the Christian church. We ain't even get into all the homosexuality and pedophilia. But it's a lot worse out there, man. That's why the ISUPK is the home of the truth, because we love one another. Now, if I could read 1 John 4 and 20, this is what they do in the Christian church right now. Read what you got.
Comments the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God.
If a man say, I love God, I love the Most High. Read on.
Come. And hated his brother.
If a man say he love God and hate his brother, I know what you're thinking. How can that be possible? A lot of you go to that Muslim mosque and that Christian church, and you fall out, you faint, you sing, I love God. It's just this save, the Lord saved my life. I met him in 1963. He been with me ever since. But you hate your brother. Not just, you know what I mean, your actual brother, like your physical brother that came out of your father and your mother. I'm talking about your brother, your fellow brothers and sisters, man, that black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Meaning if you hate a fellow Israelite, but you claiming you love God, read on.
Come. He is a liar.
He is a what?
A liar.
You are a liar if you claim you love God and hate your brother. The Lord is saying you are a liar. Right. Why is God saying you're a liar? Read on.
Come. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen.
Feel that for a minute. You see your brother every day. We do. We see our people every day. We do. We see our people, man. Our own flesh and blood, man. That fellow black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. You see them and you hate them. You see them every day. Read on.
Come. For he that loveth not his brother whom he has seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen?
You have not seen or met God a day in your life. And a lot of you Christians disgust me, saying, when I met him, I was at my worst. God came to me. I'm about to speak to every mother, every auntie, every grandma. The Lord not talking to you. He not. A lot of y'all can't get that man to talk to you. God got better things to do than talk to you. I hate to say it to you. The Lord spoke to you, your body would disintegrate. You want to get close to the Most High, sis? Come into the ISUPK. Brother, if you want to get close to the Most High, come into the UPK. God ain't speak to you. You see your brother every day and you hate your brother. You hate your sister. You never seen God a day in your life. That's why you're a liar. Read on, Nicole. Go ahead, Nicole. What you gonna say?
If I could, I remember times back then when I was in the world, and I just think I was talking to God. A lot of people do think that they talking to God. They talking inner, but their perspective on God is Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
However you want to see it. They don't see God as the one that will shut the door on their prayer. They don't see that. They like, man, God answers all prayers. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is. I got a personal relationship with God. But then when you start learning God that you based off your understanding on, you'll realize and understand, man, the Lord not even hearing my prayer. I'm in sin, you know. Like, dang, okay, I gotta get the Lord on my side. Like people, like a lot of those church followers, man, it's sad. But they being misguided. They believe that, you know, they in the truth and they think that everything is okay, but it's really not, man. The house is on fire. You gotta get out.
It's heavy, man, because they all believe that. They all believe, and I hate that term. God spoke to me. God is not speaking with you. God is not dealing with your pastor or your e-man. He not. God is only dealing with the priests and prophets and the Isupk under command of General Yohanan. That is who the Lord is dealing with. The problem is you think God, you know what I mean, is dealing with you, but you hate your brother. That's why it says in this commandment have from him that he who loveth God love his brother also. Meaning, if you claim to love God, that you love your fellow brother also. Meaning you love that fellow black man, that fellow Latino man, that fellow First Nation man and woman. That's what we have to understand and do. But the problem is we don't. You too busy in the church. And while we on the topic, Nicole, I gotta bring this up because what you bringing out is just so heavy. Our people go into church and learn lies and deceit. Give me Isaiah 31 and 10. Start at Isaiah 31 and verse 10. And then I want you to go to Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. This is what they teach us in the Christian church. Yeah, Isaiah 30 and start at verse 9. Start at Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 9, Biblical Show. Because our people go into the Christian church, man. And I brought this out, last Thursday. I'll paraphrase it. In Romans chapter 10 and verse 2. You know what I mean? We have a zeal of God. God is saying that we have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. The problem is we think we're going to find the Most High in the Christian church or the Muslim mosque. We're not. That's why the Lord said not according to knowledge. And Hosea 4 and 6 was a direct precept to Romans chapter 10 and verse 2. It says we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. God said my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Meaning you're not going to find God in the Christian church or the Muslim mosque. That lack of knowledge that we're destroyed from is thinking that God loves everybody, thinking it's all right to have an oppressor wife or oppressor husband and to intermarry with these heathens. That's why in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, because we make knowledge practical so it can be understood. But a lot of you are still rebellious. You still want to go and learn under that pastor because he tells you what you want to hear. And I'm gonna bring this out right now. Let me get Isaiah 30 and verse 9. Again, if y'all have any questions, make sure y'all type them in the chat. I'll be answering your questions tonight. Let me get Isaiah 30 and verse 9, Biblical Show.
The book Isaiah chapter 30, verse 9. Mm-hmm. That this is a rebellious people.
The Lord said this is a rebellious people. I used to always wonder. I was like, damn. I said, whatever happened to God's chosen people, the Israelites of antiquity? And I realized something when I came into the truth. That we're those people. If I could, I get some more strong back there. Yeah, some more and some ice and some of that juice back there. Now understand this, black man, Latino man, and woman. It says, for this is a rebellious people. You know how I really knew? It took General Muhammad breaking this down to me, General Mayaka Allah. We're that same people, right, that saw the Red Sea split. We're that same people that walked through the Red Sea while it was split. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, we're that stiff-necked people. Because Moses left us for 10 minutes? I understand he was gone for 40 days, but goddamn, it felt like 10 minutes. Moses was gone for 10 minutes. Next thing you know, we want to go back to Egypt, and next thing you know, we build a golden calf. That's us. We're the people that require a sign. No other people is this stubborn, except that black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. I said, well, goddamn, we are those people, man. Because it's hard to get stuff through our minds. And it's right in front of us. Like this Bible holds our records, our law, statutes, and commandments. The Bible is our roadmap back, you know what I mean, to our God. And it can only be attained in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. So out of 1 West 125th Street, Hall of New York, under command of General Yohanan, man. This is where the Lord dwells. This Bible right here is collecting dust. The general's been bringing this out since the 80s? Man, they're how to behold this truth down, trying to wake our people up. And our people still rebel. You still want to go to church. You still want to celebrate Christmas. A lot of you are going to go out there and, Salaki for the language, and freeze your ass off on New Year's. Wow. Appreciate it. What's that great? Oh, my goodness. You know, I ain't got the same tolerances. Never mind. I understand this. We have to understand, man, that you're not going to find God in that church. Creflo Dollar don't have the truth. Neither does Geno Jennings. Neither does Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen is a goddamn crook. He robbed us of $600,000. Like the car, the fact. To show that we are that rebellious people, we're still pumping money into the Christian church. The Christian church made $800 billion in 10 years. $800 billion. I thought it was just $420 billion. It was really $800 billion, the car. That's how much money they made. But every ghetto and barrio in America and across the earth has a church on the corner of their street. But what do they do for our people? Nothing. Do you know what Commander General Yohana would have done with that $800 billion? Homelessness and starvation amongst Israelites, blacks, and Latinos and Native American Indians, it would not exist. Because we have laws against that, man. That's why everybody should be paying their tithes in the car. That's the problem. I'm sending your tithes to TD Snake, TD Jakes. You sending your tithes to Geno Jennings and Creflo Dollar and Joe Osteen, who's a goddamn crook, a modern day, you know what I mean, Italian mafioso, who said he was robbed of $600,000, but lo and behold, he robbed us of $600,000. It was inside of his church walls. That's why he didn't want to let our people in when they were dying of that hurricane, man, a couple years back. Because he's the devil that the Bible speaks of, Joe Osteen, who I'm speaking of. Your pastor is no different, you know what I mean, than those that worship the oppressor. That's why Christ said they are their father, the devil. For the lust of your father you will do. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning, man. We are that rebellious people that still want to have hope in the Christian church, man. That's why the Lord said for that this is a rebellious people. Read on. Oh my goodness. He was not fraud. Read on.
That this is a rebellious people. Lying children.
Lying children. Lying. Lying to our people. How do you know that you're lying to our people? How do you know? Go ahead, Nicole.
Because when you look inside our community, you see a white God and a white Jesus.
Exactly. I'll take it a step further. If you mind, can I ask your nephew a question? Young man Hanif, can I ask you a question, young man? Is Santa Claus real?
Santa real?
Give him a hand. He looked at me like, hell. He looked at me like, nigga, you know. See, he's a smart young man. When you got an uncle like Officer 500 in the car, the uncle gonna make sure you get right. But I had to ask the child. I had to ask the baby. But they tell our kids, right, that Santa Claus is real. Santa Claus is not real. It's not. Christmas is wrong according to our God, man. That's in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. Lying children, lying to our people. They lie to our people in the Christian church every day. Like Nakar, this is the one that gets me. To get back on the tithes for a minute. They tell our people that the law is done away with, but tell us to pay tithes. You see the problem with the Christian church? I thought the law was done away with, Creflo Dollar. Creflo Dollar said that Satan wants us to keep the law, that Christ doesn't. But did we not give him $1 billion so he can get his jet? Like, I'm confused. Like, sometimes I think I'm in the Matrix. I'm in the Twilight Zone, the car. I'm like, God damn. I used to be in church with my mother. Like, no cap. Be right there. My mother be like, you know, baby, I don't know how we're going to pay this electric bill. I don't know where we're going to get this $200 from. But then Pastor Ruffin say he need $400 to get the windows fixed, and here come my mom, $200 donation. I'm like, didn't you just say that the electric like we could have paid the bill? What's going on? That's the witchcraft of Christianity. That's why God is not with the Christian church and the Muslim mosques. Lying children. Read them.
Children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
Children that won't what?
Hear the law of the Lord.
Children that won't hear the law of the Lord. What is the law of the Lord? The Lord said, you know what I mean? We have over 600 commandments, but these two laws hinge all of them. To love the Most High with all thy mind, thy strength, and thy soul, and to love thy brother as thyself. We do those two, guess what? The rest of the law will be a breeze. But the problem is, black man, Latino man, and woman, we don't want to do that. Why? That will not hear the law. Children that won't hear the law. Like we tell you every week, to stop being whores, stop being whoremongers, stop being drug addicts and drug dealers. But you don't want to hear that. You know what you want to hear? Go ahead, Nicole.
If I could, sir, we tell them to get off the drugs. And then, they argue with us and say, oh, nothing wrong with me smoking this weed. You know what I mean? And you look inside the prison system. I looked it up right before this class, sir. The scientists even say that there's bad effects that comes with smoking weed. Your judgment is clouded. Most people that went to jail or go to jail, they were smoking weed. When they committed a crime, they were smoking weed. You understand what I'm saying? Like, got into altercations because they had bad judgment because they were smoking weed.
Yeah, they were
respiratory is not that strong. You're more likely to get cancer. The guy Burner, I think he's Isupk, right? Mexican brother from the tribe of Isupk. I think that he's fighting cancer as we speak. He's a known weed connoisseur and distributor.
Good night. Goes to show you, cancer ain't never gonna get cured if you getting high. How you gonna find a cure? You're using that. What do you think you're using that money for, Nicole? At the dispensary. You see the problem? We won't hear the law of the Lord, man. The Lord told us not to get high, not to smoke cigarettes, not to be a whore, no damn whoremonger, man. Read on.
Verse 10. Which say to the seers.
Now, what say to the seers, what's saying to your pastor, your imam, read on.
Come. See not.
Don't see what I'm doing. See not. Don't see the evil that I'm doing. Look the other way. That's why when some of you sisters out there go and get, pregnant, and then throw that man away and abort that baby, it's because the pastor told you, think about your career. Think about yourself, which is the most evil thing you could ever do. Because, sister, if I can tell you, that baby that's growing inside of you, you have no right to murder that baby.
Right.
That baby that's growing inside of you, sis, belongs to the Most High God, Yahweh. That young black, Latino, or First Nation baby that's growing inside of you, sister, guess what? It comes from our God. You have no right to murder that baby, man.
Right.
Read on.
Come. And to prophets, prophesy not unto us right things.
Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets. Meaning to your priests and your Catholic priests and your Christian ministers and Baptists, Brother Minister Farrakhan, Minister Inky, all of them, charlatans. Prophesy not unto us right things. Meaning, don't tell us what we have to do. Don't tell us about the law, statutes, and commandments. Don't do that. Don't tell us that we can't be whores. Don't tell us that we can't be whoremongers and homosexuals and junkies and alcoholics, man. Don't tell us that. It says, prophesy not unto us right things. Now, I'm going to pick it up. It says, speak unto us smooth things.
Right.
Meaning this. Tell us it's all right to get high. Tell us that it's all right to be a homosexual, that you can leave that man if you're not happy in the relationship, which is, Nicole, I need some help with this. I really do. Like, I could not fathom. There are pastors out here telling sisters, if you're not happy, you have the right to leave. But Christ said, you know what I mean? You cannot leave that, brother, sis. Our God said that. And listen, and our King reiterated this in Matthew the 19th chapter, Salakia, that if it's not for fornication, meaning, brother, if that sister don't go out and sleep with another man, she's still your wife.
Right.
Like if she doesn't go out there and commit fornication, engage in unlawful sex, so she's not out there having sex with another man or woman, which is an abomination, by the way, being a lesbian, being a homosexual. That's still your wife. I don't care if Christ is saying, I don't care if she slashes your tires. I don't care, you know what I mean, if she puts a firebomb in the back of your vehicle and blows it up and burns her face and arms and legs. That's still your wife. Huh? That's what's so evil about these pastors, man. Go ahead, Nicole.
If I could,
Because I need some help with this.
I seen a female, I don't know what they call them in the church anymore. I think it's a minister, pastor, female that was inside the church that, ranking in church.
She was a youth pastor. She was a youth pastor.
Yeah, she was a pastor, she was an older woman.
She was a pastor.
Yeah, she was a pastor, and she was taking one of her people from the congregation to the abortion clinic, and the person that knew about it, was like, yo, why is you, don't abort that baby, don't abort the baby, and literally the sister, the pastor is like, she can do whatever she wants. She can abort the baby. And literally, he's like, yo, how can you say that, man? That is murder. And she did not give a damn. She said, kill the baby.
First off, the sister shouldn't be teaching the Bible, period. That's why the scripture says, I believe in 2 Timothy, I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man. Understand this, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, don't fall weak under that sister, under that woman. The rightful order, like it says in Corinthians, is that the Most High is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of man, and man is the head of the woman. Christ is our head, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and the man, and the head of that woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God. That's what we have to understand as the Lord's chosen people, man. The sister is committing murder, man. That's why it says, prophesy not unto us, you know what I mean, right things. Don't tell us the right thing to do, but prophesy unto us smooth things. Meaning, tell us that it's all right to abort our babies. Tell us it's all right to be a whore. Tell us it's all right to be a whoremonger or a homosexual or a transformer. Read on. Prophesy deceit.
Unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits.
Prophesy deceits. Prophesy deceits. Right. That's what they do in the Christian church. They prophesy deceits, lies, telling us that the law is done away with, but then telling us we have to pay tithes. Telling us don't worry about that baby. Focus on yourself. Focus on your career, which is evil, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And that's why God is not with the Christian church or the Muslim mosque, man. Lord is not with it. That's why it's important for our people to understand this. To understand. Read, go to Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1, Baba Kushan. If I may. Let me get Jeremiah 23 and verse 1. I'm going to go into my topic.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors.
Woe be unto the pastors. What does it mean? What does woe mean? What does it mean, woe be unto the pastors? Meaning, destruction be unto the pastors.
Right.
Destruction. Why is destruction coming to your pastor? I know some of you sisters right now, not my pastor. not Minister Falcon, not T.D. Jakes, not Pastor Ruffin, him too. Destruction is coming to these pastors.
Right.
Why? Read on.
Come. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
That destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture. We are the sheep of God's pasture. Why is God calling us sheep? Because sheep require a sheep. People. When Christ was quoting Isaiah, the 45th chapter and the 17th verse, that Israel might be saved in an everlasting salvation. These should not be ashamed nor confounded, worlds without end. The world that Christ was speaking about in John 3:16 is the same world that Isaiah was speaking about, the world of Israel, because world means age or society. Your pastor is wrong for that. And God said, therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Meaning, this is against your pastor, your imam, Farrakhan included, your fake Israelite leader included, man, that masquerade in purple like the oppressor, like the Roman triumphant. That go to strip clubs and my bad in the car. That go to establishments, gentlemen clubs, and ask the service and working girls and bottle girls, you single? You single? You single? Yeah, you're a fake Israelite leader. That's not One West, by the way. All of them, read on.
Come. And driven them away.
And driven them away. They've driven us away. They've driven us away, man. Took us away from the truth, man. The truth is right here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. Read on.
Come and have not visited them. Behold.
And have not visited them. Abandoned us. They abandoned us, man.
Right.
How do you know that? Where was your pastor and your imam and fake Israelite group when our Haitian brothers and sisters of the tribe of Loya in the Hebrew, Levi, when they were suffering in Acuna, Mexico? Who went down there to help them? The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge went there, man, to help our people. Where was your fake Israelite leader? That's right. Hollering at the bottle girls in the club, trying to forget about how they let an African murder our sister. We're too fixated on raping 12-year-old girls. Go ahead, Nicole.
If I could, they said the purple ballerina man, they supposedly had went down there after we went down there because they see the real shepherds do the real work, and they trying to act like yeah, we did bad and tough just like that. We're badder than them. We gonna do it down there too. You understand? And almost could have gotten themselves killed because that's not no joke. The cartel. A lot of people don't understand this, right? Outside of the so-called.
Tell them, Nicole. Tell them that it was a level 5 danger zone that the United States military told Captain Gahan Yad over the southern region, man, who told Captain Yakazak, who led the charge down there under the authority of Commander General Yohana, man, and all them brothers that went down there, man. Tell them the danger. It wasn't just the cartel. It was a lot of other dangers that was, man. The oppressor wasn't trying to go over there. Go ahead, Nicole.
I mean, you pretty much covered the majority of it, but the cartel alone, they will pressure you. They are going to war with militaries. So they had militaries. They had military weapons. You understand? They are very very upfront. If you can't speak Spanish, you can almost lose your life because they like, who the fuck? So like who is you? And they really press the issue on people that they like. I know a brother, a Mexican, Isupk right brother, right from so-called Mexican brother, and Holden, they was pressing him to work for them. Like the cartel is a military down there, and they oppress the people. With drugs and extortion and all types of other wickedness, stuff like that. And we went down in there with like no sweat. We were just going to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
Figures like seeing the courage that the real shepherds had and wanted to mimic it. You understand what I'm saying? And also, fake Israelite groups is out here, and fake Israelites is trying to leech on to what we did down there in Mexico. What the Lord sent us to go do. They trying to leech on to it like it's like we did it too. We did that. Like nigga, yeah, where were you at?
You was on Clubhouse saying that we not one West. No. They were on Clubhouse in the car saying, but they're not the only ones that's one West.
Right.
While we were down there helping and feeding the Haitian man and woman, man, of the tribe of Levi. And what was so beautiful, man, when we got down there, Issachar was already on the job too, helping our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Levi.
That's right.
Because the Mexicans are the Issacharites, man. And Levi is, you know what I mean? The Levites, loyal in the Hebrew, you know what I mean, are the Haitians. Yashakar, meaning Issachar, the Mexicans. We understand we the same people. And guided our brothers down there, man. If I could, I'm gonna read this precept, what you just said. You want to know why we wasn't worried about the cartel? You want to know why we wasn't worried about the United States military? Romans 8 and verse 31 says this. What shall we say then to these things? What shall we say to these things, man? To the opposition that we may face, of all of the danger that we may face in the ISUP and the Commander General Yohana. If God be for us, who can be against us? Who can be against the ISUPK if God is for us, man? The cartel? The United States military? If God is for us, who can be against us? And God is with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Command General Yohana, man. Nobody can be against us. And these heathens understand that. These other nations understand it. The cartel understand that too. That's why the Lord said, what shall we say then to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? And if our God is with us, and God is with the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, meaning nobody can be against us. That's why it was no sweat. When the U.S. military said we couldn't go through the Del Rio, Texas, we said, no sweat. We'll go through Mexico. Right. And went down there and fed our people. And when everybody else claimed they went down there, guess what happened? After we left, the United States military went out there and rounded up our Haitian brothers and sisters up and put them in, you know what I mean, in different, different camps and facilities. They had to move them because that terrified the oppressor. It terrified the oppressor that this group that you say is a hate group, that you say just is all about hate, showed one of the greatest acts of love that you will ever see. Right. While the oppressor was storming his own capital, committing treason against himself. If Satan is against, Satan can't cast out Satan. But we went down there to feed our people, that Haitian man and woman, that Issacharite man and woman. We went down there for our people, and that scared the hell out of the oppressor. Because you want to know why? Because they understand one thing. The last thing they want is for that Black and Latino and First Nation man and woman is to gather ourselves together like Zephaniah 2 and 1 says. Right. That's what terrified the oppressor. Right. The ISUPK went down there, man, to feed our people. What did your pastor do? What did your imam do? What did your fake Israelite leader do? Oh, they went on Clubhouse to debate each other? That's cute. That's okay. Right. Where about that action? What were you doing? You were on Clubhouse saying, well, well, this part of history says that this president did this for us, or you're talking about how the black woman is God, or you're talking about how we can save our people, that it's okay, that God will still love you. You know what I mean? Even though you're a homosexual or that you're having sex with animals. A sister told us that. Sister told a sister told Officer Yediah, an officer in the car, that God would still love her if she's still smoking weed, being a homosexual, and having sex with animals. Good night. Meanwhile, the priests and prophets in the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana, we out here doing the work of the Lord, man, feeding blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and raising up Christ's kingdom.
Right.
But we're not the only ones with the truth, according to y'all. That's all right. Like 12-year-old General Hyman said when I was a trooper. As a matter of fact, I was a young man when he said this. There's going to come a time, right, where all of you that claim that we're not the truth are going to have to come up in battle against us. And guess what? We're going to find out who God is really with. Right. And it's going to be the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana. We undefeated. Undefeated like Mayweather. You can forget about it. We don't take losses. We don't lose. You can forget about that, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. We will come out on top. I pray you understand. Reading on. As a matter of fact, let's drop that. Now, topic, interracial marriage. I wanted to go over this topic because silly brother in the world had the nerve to say, but isn't God all love? But what if he can't help but love Becky? What if she can't help but to love Phil or Bob or Nfutu or Nagala or Steve? Here's the problem, black man, Latino man, and woman. If I could, real quick, give me 2 John 1 and 6. You don't even understand what real love is. Can I break down what love is to you according to God? Because a lot of our people claim, well, you know, your diet, God is all love. Where's that in the Bible? You don't even know what God. You don't even know what love is according to God. 2 John 1 and 6. I want to show our people what real love is. Then I want you to go to Deuteronomy 7 and 3.
This is the book of 2 John, chapter 1 and verse 6. And this is love.
And this is love. For all of you Christians out there, for all of you Muslims, according to God in the Bible in 2 John 1 and 6. And this is love. Read on.
And this is love. That we walk after his commandments.
That we walk after what?
His commandments.
That we walk after what?
His commandments.
That we walk after his commandments. Stay right there. I want to read something. I want to read Deuteronomy 8 and verse 6. Deuteronomy 8 and verse 6 says, therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God. Meaning we have to keep all 600 plus laws, statutes, and commandments. Reading on. To walk in his ways and to fear him. Meaning to walk after his commandments is to keep them. Read 2 John 1 and 6 again.
And this is love.
And this is love. This is what love is, Christian. This is what love is, Muslim. Read on.
That we walk after his commandments.
That we walk after his commandments. I read in Deuteronomy 8 and 6. Walking after the commandments is keeping them. Read on.
This is the commandment that as ye have heard from the beginning.
This is the commandment that ye have heard from the beginning. Meaning this ain't nothing new. This is nothing new. This is why the Lord said there's no new thing under the sun, man. This ain't nothing new. It's nothing new, man. Meaning we've heard this since the beginning. It's been around for a long time. Read on.
This is the commandment that ye, as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it.
Meaning ye shall walk in it. Meaning to keep the commandments of God. And what was one of those commandments? because there's 600 plus. Let me show you, if I may. Let me get Deuteronomy 7 and verse 3. Did you want to break something out in the car?
I believe I did, but it's too much.
No, go ahead. You can bring it back out later. Let me Deuteronomy 7 and verse 3. Go read down to verse 6.
Come. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Let me tell you why. The story that we went over on Black Watch with Commander Junior Hanna, if I could pause real quick, make sure everybody, when I say everybody should be tuning into Black Watch News every Monday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. with 13 Shield General Commanding General Yahana. Every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Everybody should be tuned in to Commander Junior Yahana, Black Watch News, man. He brought out a story Monday, man, and I was just like, well, God damn, Israel. We still have not learned. We still think we can marry Bill, Bob, and Fred, and Becky. Stay right there in the car. I want to read a little bit of this article. You know what I mean? I have to. I got to read some of this because here's the problem with our people. Here's the problem. With our people is this. We believe that we can marry the oppressor and we'll be okay. It says Bridgeport woman found dead in apartment after meeting older white man on Bumble. Now, it was a young Judite sister, right? She got on Bumble, one of those dating sites like Black Tinder and Facebook dating. You know what I mean? That's what Bumble is. You go in there and you meet brothers and sisters, or you can meet a heathen. You're not supposed to meet heathens if you're an Israelite. But this is to decide to meet an older white man, thinking she was going to get the bag, thinking she was going to find love in the car to be, you know what I mean? And if I could be politically correct and honest, with the ISUPK in the eyes of America are politically wrong. But in the eyes of God, we are a million times correct. And we're not correct after our own fruition because we're correct off of what God says. Because we follow what our God told us to do, man. This poor sister, right, went on Bumble, met her older white man, thought she made it, thought she was going to secure the bag, thought she found love. It says the man reportedly contacted the police about the victim's death but was not detained nor questioned. This is crazy, right? This oppressor, you know what I mean, met with our sister. She dies, and he's like, oh, I have nothing to do with it. I don't know what happened. He wasn't detained in the car. He wasn't arrested. Did that surprise you? Did that surprise anybody? Because you know when Ahmaud Arbery was murdered in broad daylight and on camera, his murderers, they didn't arrest him right away. It took months before they got arrested. The same thing with that devil Kim Potter, who murdered our brother Dante Wright. Her police chief didn't even want to arrest her, man. That's why he resigned and she resigned later. It says Lawrence Smith Fields was found unresponsive in her Bridgeport apartment on December 12th after she met an older white man on the dating app Bumble. The man, who has not been named, reportedly contacted the police about Smith's death, and he was not detained nor questioned. Meaning, this brother, this devil, this Edomite, who's the devil that the Bible speaks of, murdered our sister in cold blood. Lord knows what else he did to her before she was murdered. Lord knows. I don't even want to think about it because it's such a disgusting act to lay down with a heathen. It's bestiality. You're really laying down with a monster, a beast. You know what I mean? Probably raped and tormented our sister, man, before killing her. They ain't even arresting. That's why it says Lakeem Jeter, the brother of the victim, told the outlet that an arrest wasn't made because officers said the man was nice and he didn't need to be investigated. You mean to tell me because this oppressor, this white man, was nice to officers after he murdered our sister and called the police? Because he was nice and polite on the phone? It's like, oh, we can take old man Jeff's, you know what I mean, a word for it. We don't have to investigate Mr. Peter Smith, Mr. Goldberg, Mr. Bill, Mr. Walt. If I could, the car, Walt is such a diabolical oppressor name. Like, I don't know what it is, man. That's just, like some of these names, man, it's just diabolical. Like, I know you the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's neither here nor there. All of these oppressors are the devil that the Bible speaks of. But understand this, so black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, they didn't even question this devil after he went over our sister's crib, did whatever to her, God knows what, and she turned up dead. But our God said in Deuteronomy 7 and verse 3, read it again, the card from the top.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Meaning you're not supposed to marry these heathens, man.
Right.
And let me explain something for every black and Latino and First Nation man and woman out there. Because I had to explain this to a simple brother in the world, man. One of my younger brothers, man. I had to tell him. Sex is marriage, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. When you lay down with that sister, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, you are marrying that sister. Sister, when you have sex with that brother, you are marrying that brother. Because according to God, sex is marriage, man. That's why God said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. The them is talking about the heathens, man. Read on. Read Deuteronomy 7 and 3 from the top again, the car bubble show.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons.
Thou shalt not give thy daughters unto thy sons. What does that mean? What does that mean? Thou shalt not give thy daughters unto thy sons. Now, if I could, Nicole, I got to break the heart of every Uncle Tom brother out there. Meaning this. Leave Becky, Susan, Amber alone. You're not supposed to have sex with them. You're not supposed to marry them. That's why our God said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. Leave Bill, Bob, and Fred alone. Meaning this. And if I could, right, because there's a movie that came out called King Richard, right, about Serena Williams and Venus Williams' father. And I admire that brother. Why do I admire that brother? I'm going to tell you why. Both of his daughters married the oppressor.
Right.
Venus married a white man, and Serena married a white man. And you know what Richard said? I'm not going to your weddings. The white man is my enemy, and I am his. God damn, we got to give Richard a flyer, Nicole. We got to give that brother a flyer. He understands who his enemy is. He didn't go to their weddings, man. And he's in the world. This is what our God said. Don't give your daughters unto their sons. Because you can end up dead like this poor sister, man. This sister thought she could marry the oppressor and this would be all right. And she turned up dead. There was another sister just last week in the car that married an oppressor. As a matter of fact, wasn't just that. There was a sister that married the oppressor, had kids with him and everything. And you know what the oppressor did? You know what Jim, Bob, and Phil and Tim did? Murdered her and the kids on Christmas Eve. God damn. He said, F them kids, Nicole. I know what y'all saying in your Christian minds. F the kids? He said, yeah, F the kids. The oppressor would say F the kids too. And for surely a daughter of Zion. That's why God said, neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. Go ahead, Nicole. You gonna bring something up?
God, sir, if I could, like what you saying is so heavy, because I watched that movie and what he went through. He didn't just go through like to add first, just the neighborhood he come from. He came from a gang-related neighborhood back in the day. You understand, where he was being oppressed by the gang. He got a bunch of daughters. He had an of-age daughter, in high school. guys in the gangs wanted to try to talk to her. He had to fight them off. You understand? He said he almost popped one of them in the head, but the Lord took care of him. And just having to how he had to get his daughters on the scene, get her, sponsorship and all that. You know, they was looking at him like he was crazy. Like what? Ain't no man, black girl deserve to be on the darn tennis court. You understand? He went through all that scrutiny and pain and going broke. Just the bust down the doors. And once Esau realized you Michael Jordan is tennis, you know what I mean? They coming. Remember, they came with $3 million, $1 million there, $1 million there. You know what I mean? When they didn't want to leave, and then he had to face that black card that was being placed out, and then for his daughters, you understand? A couple decades later, having to see his daughters running through the darn music industry. Then to finally settle down and have a white man's baby. I'm not surprised that he said he didn't come to that wedding.
It's disgusting. It is disgusting, man. And if I may, like, when the car is bringing out is so heavy, is that our people don't fathom and even understand what you bringing out of.
Right.
Is that, and he's a brother in the world. He understands that the oppressor is our enemy, and all of those barriers he knocked down for his baby girls. And the man didn't play tennis, but he supported his daughter so much. And what is the excuse? I'm sick and tired of hearing this. Like, and if I made the call, I have to do this. I got to speak boldly. I have to. For you silly sisters, I'm going to get to you, Uncle Tom Negroes, as well, you brothers. I'm going to get to y'all too. But for you simple minded sisters saying it ain't no good black men left, you ain't looking hard enough. You want to know why? You want to know all the good black men and Latino men and First Nation men are? They are in the ISUPK. That's where they at. Serena Williams could have came and got a brother, man. Venus could have got a brother. God damn, the car is available. God damn, bars all required. Bye, Sis, you could have called me. could have called me, man. This is it. There's righteous brothers in the UPK right here. And for you Uncle Tom Negroes, it's sisters out here too, man. Right. Go ahead, Nicole.
Yeah, if I could, shit, like I said, she just ran through some brothers. Well, I know Serena, everybody loves Serena, she's on her body everywhere, so all the rappers, even Drake even had a piece. You understand? Drake had a piece, Common, they probably was deaf, they got a piece around somewhere, like.
But you know what it is? She's like, I'm bigger than Drake. Right. I'm bigger than Common. Who do you think you are? I can't submit to you, but you'll submit to some pale-faced, buttermilk complexion oppressor, some beach boy, the oppressor, the oppressor who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You'll submit to him, and then you'll say, but what about young black boys and girls? You didn't think about them when you married the oppressor. Right. I don't want to hear none of that, Serena. That ship has sailed. Read on.
Okay. Knowing his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Now let me get on to you brothers for a minute. Because a lot of you brothers think you winning when you go and get Susan and Becky and Amber. And I hear the things that you say. Nakar, I had a brother in the world tell me, brother, he told me that black women was just too difficult, just too ignorant, just too headstrong, that Becky understood him. Amber supported his needs. You know what I mean? That Susan just was his soulmate. Even Childish Gambino said it. And y'all love Childish Gambino, who's a halfway homosexual, by the way. He's a halfway homosexual. Talk about black women never understood me. Black women never got me. But my white milk of magnesia, she was there for me. You Negroes make me sick to my stomach, man. You make me sick. You mean to tell me, and I'm gonna be honest, man. Don't get me wrong. A lot of our sisters are out of order, man. Our sisters are out of order because we out of order. But Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under command of General Yohana, that the black man, Latino man, and First Nation man is getting right. We got right now. Now we getting our sisters in order. That's why the sisters in the UPK are not whores. That's why they not monsters. They don't have their men, their husbands on child support, man. You know what I mean? That's what's so heavy, man. We got back in order. And now we getting our sisters back in order. For you brothers that cop a plea and say, no, they never understood me. You make me sick. How are you just going to abandon that sister? A lot of our sisters are still down with us. They still down. They still willing to hold it down for that black man, Latino man, First Nation man. And you going to leave that sister to go get with Kim Kardashian? Some of your Kanye made a song about it. When he get on, leave his ass for a white girl. He did that. He meant that. You gonna leave that sister that struggled with us in the beginning with us, man. That is an evil thing to do. It is an evil thing to marry the oppressor's daughter, or marry an African, or marry an Asian, or marry an Arab, or a Polynesian, or Samoan, man. If you black, Latino, or Native American Indian, or a man or woman, we cannot do that. And it's a sin against our God to marry these other races, man. Read on.
Come. Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
They will turn away thy son from following me. Now, you know what that means? We say they will turn thy son away from following me. Now that you're married to the oppressor's daughter, now you're in the Christian church. Halfway homosexual, sitting up there in the Catholic church, you know what I mean, worshiping a white Jesus, worshiping a white God with fat angel babies up on the wall. Now you're up there, and that garbage, man. Celebrating Christmas, celebrating Thanksgiving and New Year's, man. These other nations turned us away from following our God, man. That's why God said we shouldn't marry these heathens, man. Read on.
Come, that they may serve other gods.
Now you're serving other gods. Now you with that Arab woman. Now you like, don't call me Willie no more. Now your stupid ass, Salaki for the language. Now you going home and your mother and your father talking about, don't call me Willie no more. I'm with Aisha. You know what I mean? She's from Bangladesh. She's from Saudi Arabia. She turned me to Allah, the God of the Arabs. Now I'm not Willie Bobo. Now I'm Abdul Rahim Suleiman Khalid Ahmed the Magnificent. And your parents looking at you like, nigga, you Willie. That's the problem with our people, man. Now you sitting up there. So I went to high school with brothers in the car that when they went and got with an Asian woman, them niggas became Buddhists. Them niggas think they anime characters. Them niggas think they Goku. They think they Broly. They think they Tanjiro. They think they Koroko. They really think they anime characters now, man. That's the problem. You get with these daughters of these heathens, of these strangers. And when I say strangers in this context, I'm talking about strange women. Now you get with these strange women who are heathen women, man. Now you're following their gods. Now you're a Buddhist. Now you're a Muslim. Now you're a Christian. Because the Lord said it, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. Now you in the Muslim mosque saying salam alaikum. Now you in the Christian church saying, you know what I mean? If it be the will of God, brother. If it be the will of God, you know what I mean, sis? Inshallah. Now you a goddamn Hinduist. That's the problem. Now you're married to that Ghana woman or woman from Nigeria, And now you in the voodoo and all them other different type of religions of all of those different gods who are the figments of these heathens' imagination. Because there's one God, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, and his name is Yahweh. That's why the scriptures say in Deuteronomy 6:4, Shema Yasha'Allah Yahweh, Alahayanawa Yahweh God. Meaning our God is one God, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. It's about time we realized it. And he's telling us that we marry these different heathen men and women, that they will turn us away from following our God, who is Yahweh. Read them.
Come. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you.
The anger of God is kindled against us. Why? Because we found beauty in Becky. Let me explain something. This is something. When I was a young man and a trooper, man, big shout out to Officer 1000 Bars over Cobb. My brother used to always tell me, "You die, we got 12 different flavors." Who is finer than that black, Latino, or First Nation woman? No one. There is not a woman more beautiful than that black, Latino, or First Nation woman. And sis, you're not going to find a better man than that black, Latino, and First Nation man. If you a single black, Latino, or First Nation woman, you better come in here and get in the car. You better come get Ibad Hayat. You better come get Barzal Rakab. You better come get, Captain Ahmad Yashar.
Right.
You gotta come and get Officer Zion. Come get Officer Thusher Young. Come get a UPK brother. And brother, come get a UPK sister, man. Go get a sister, man, that's black, Latino, or First Nation, man. You ain't got to go to these heathen women. What the hell is Amber gonna do for you? You mean to tell me Amber can sympathize with the plight of blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians? Hell no. You mean to tell me Bill and Bob and Tim can sympathize with us? No, they cannot. Hell no. We got 12 different flavors: black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And if you go outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, that black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, you are a traitor to our God, a traitor to our King, a traitor to our people. That's why the Lord's anger is kindled against us, man, because we trying to find beauty in the African. Ain't no African woman that look better than no First Nation woman, that look better than no Latina woman or black woman. Them heathens can't even understand. First of all, you can smell the difference. Nakar, you can smell the difference between them African women and black women. You better believe it. You better believe it, man. Our women smell like, Zariac's oils, magnificent. Smell like new life. Them Africans smell like giraffe water or rhinoceros feces, man. Better stop it, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Go ahead, Nicole.
All right, sir. My rib just texted me, so I just something popped in my head. So my neighbors upstairs from me, I live in the Southwest, so that's like heavy African territory.
I know the smell is atrocious.
Right.
I know because I'm from Southwest Philadelphia, Israel. It's rough.
Yeah, so I had needed to jump. And I had to go to work. So I had knocked on the upstairs neighbor's door. I was like, hey, I got to jump. And he comes to the door and he left the door open. So, I'm being nosy. Like, I'm looking inside the crib a little bit and lie to you not, man. I'm like, that house is dirty. I'm like, what in the world? And then everything started coming to me. I'm like, yo, I think this is where those roaches was coming from.
You think?
The mouse person.
You think?
We got rid of the mice. We got a cat. A cat is crazy. I think the mice got the memo. But we had to literally scrub down everything because it was just roaches coming in. And we what the hell? We clean people. And seeing that, I'm like, ew. You know what I'm saying? This is how they living. You know what I mean? This is how they move, man. They not godly people.
Nope.
In Israel, we are godly people. That's why we always like smelling good. If you see an Israelite sister, you know what I'm saying? Israelite sister got on some smell good. Most brothers, I don't know what the new wave is today, but most brothers, I tell you this, we represent Israel, ISUPK, men smell good, man.
Yeah, big shout out to Captain Zariak, man, and them oils, man. Let me tell you something. Captain Zaryak be having me smelling right.
Right.
I can only speak for me. Like for me, it's that green light to call. That green light and that blue and that OG fourth dimension, I be smelling good. You know what I mean? It's a lock it, but go ahead. You was gonna bring something else up?
No, really, man. The wrap up what I was saying, like those people, man, it's definitely not the same spirit. It's not the same, infrastructure and how we build ourselves up from scratch. And we come from nothing. These people have, they not destroyed like we did, so they are dirty people.
If I may, right, not to cut you off. You want to know why? Because Africans sold black people into slavery.
Right.
They sold Israelites. Africans didn't sell other Africans. Africans sold Israelites, and Israel, I'm going to go further into that this Thursday. I'm going to go further into why we're not Africans. I'm going to do a refresher this Thursday when I teach, the history class. Let me explain something, black man, Latino man, and woman. This is why our God said his anger is kindled against us suddenly because we're following after these other nations and wanting to marry their women. It's not our custom. In Ghana and Nigeria right now, they're into voodoo. They cut up cows and cut them open and rolling the cows' feces in their blood and their organs, and that's going up to their gods. We don't get down like that, and to show you that we don't get down like that for everybody that's watching, if you a brother that believe that we're African, you should already know the smell difference. Sisters, you know too. You know damn well you're not laying down, with that African man, that Nigerian man, that South African man. You know there's a difference in that smell. Because we believe in sanitation. We are clean people. They not. They are not. You can smell the difference, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and woman. That should tell you that smell is something biblical. I don't have to tell most of you. It's the same thing with the East Indians, man. Just because we got melanin, I gotta break this out. I'm gonna go into it a little bit right now because I'm on the topic. You ever heard the phrase all kinfolk ain't skinfolk?
Right.
Why is that? Because we have melanin. Got some niggas in this world that is saying, well, we're all melanated, can die. It don't mean we all the same, nigga. It don't mean we all the same people. Africans come from the lineage of Ham. Meaning this, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and woman, we don't come from Ham. That's why if you read in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, and the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, to paraphrase it right now, it says Ham. The youngest son of Noah, born 96 years before the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. That's in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. We didn't write the Zondervan. Those were the oppressors, scholars that knew this, but not the Negroes, because the Negroes come from Shem, and out of Shem came Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's who we belong to. And our God's anger is kindled against us because we're marrying these other nations, having sex with them. And that's what God doesn't want us to do. God said, for they will turn away thy son from following me. Following after the African women and African men and the oppressor men and women and the Asians, guess what? We stop following our God. Now you're focused on being a Buddhist. Now you're focused on being a Muslim and a Christian. And it says, that they may serve other gods. Now we're serving other gods. Now we're serving Shiva, Allah, and white Jesus. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. God said that this anger, man, that he has for us marrying these other nations, because sex is marriage, by the way. And I have the precept. Exodus 22 and verse 16 says, if a man entice a maid, meaning if a man spit game, you gaming some stuff, you talking that stuff to her, that is not betrothed, that is not promised to somebody, and lying with her mean have sex with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Meaning now this woman has to become his wife. Endow meaning for surely. Now she has to become his wife because he had sex with her, because sex is marriage. That's why God does not want us having You know what I mean? Reckless sex with everybody. Sex is important, black man, Latino man, and First Nation man and woman, because
Right.
it is marriage. When you think sex, think about marriage. Think about you marrying that brother, sister. Sister, brother, think about you marrying that sister. You watch who you have sex with. Read on. Read verse 5.
Come. Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them.
Now the Lord said, but thus shall ye deal with them. This is how we're supposed to deal with these heathens. This is how we're supposed to deal with everybody that's a non-Israelite. Read on.
Come. But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars.
You shall what?
Destroy their altars.
The Lord said, this is how you deal with the African, the Asian, the oppressor, who is the devil, the Caucasian man and woman, the devil that the Bible speaks of. This is how God said we should deal with these other nations. Read on.
Come.
Ye shall what?
Ye shall destroy their altars.
Ye shall destroy their altars, meaning tear down their gods.
Right.
Tear down that white Jesus, which is Caesar Borgia. Tear down Allah, which is the figment of the imagination of the Arabs. Tear down Shiva. Tear down Buddha. Throw it in the garbage.
Right.
I'll never forget, man. We went to New York in the car. We went to the New York cookout. It was Officer Marah, myself, Ibadaya, and Matazawad. When we went into the Airbnb, it was a statue of Buddha on the desk. Ask Marah, he'll tell you. I took Buddha and threw Buddha under the bed. He said, yeah, no. Tear that altar down. He probably still there in the car, Salaki. I was going to throw his ass out the window. Salaki for the language. But understand this, man. Tear down their altars, man. Read on. Throw their gods away. Read on.
And break down their images.
Break down their images, man. Throw that white Jesus in the garbage. Throw Buddha in the garbage. Throw Shiva in the garbage. Throw Allah in the trash can. Read on.
And cut down their groves.
And cut down their groves, man. Cut down their groves, meaning tear down these churches. Tear down these mosques, man. And you know how you tear down these churches and these mosques? You don't got to burn them to the ground. You don't got to destroy them physically. It starts with you coming out of them. If every black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman came out of church and came out of the Muslim mosque and start coming into the Isupk, guess what? Our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach will return. That's what it means tearing down their groves, man. Come into this truth. Leave the Christian church. Leave the Muslim mosque. Leave Egyptology. Leave your own understanding, man, and come back into the truth, into the Isupk. You know.
So like you said, time check 8:37.
Come the water. Read on.
Come. And burn their graven images with fire.
And burn their graven images with fire. Take white Jesus, throw them outside, and set them on fire. Right. Same thing with Allah. Read on.
Come. If I could.
Go ahead.
You know, it's crazy. You know, fake Israelites, they was in the room saying, yeah, man, you know, what we need to start doing. And I can see us not even asking this question in the UK because we already know. Like, will we do enough for the Lord, you know, is stamped, right? They were saying, yeah, because they was mad at the Muslims for saying what they were saying, like Ishmael. They was like, yeah, you know, man, we need to start burning the Quran every time before camp or something like that. And I'm like, it sounded like they was trying to get us to enjoy. So, you know, I usually tell you what we need to start doing every time before we go to camp. And I'm just sitting there like, we ain't listening to you. We just let them talk.
And that's all you should do. Because they're rebellious children. Right. That's why I read in Isaiah 30 and verse 9 on the 10 and 11. They're rebellious children. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not for Islam. Me, myself, I can only speak for me. As a matter of fact, Salakia, I speak for every brother and sister in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. This is the best use for your Quran. Now, I need you to understand something. I want you to lean into the camera. This is what I do with my Quran. My father gifted me a Quran years ago. And he threw a Quran at me because I told him this. I was a young man. I said, you know what 12 General Mayaka Allah told me my first day of class. He said the Quran's best use is toilet paper. And I said, you on to something, sir. I ran out of toilet paper in the car and I said, you know what? Where that Quran my dad gave me? The water, General Mayaka Allah. Give General Mayaka a hand, man. Because when I ran out of toilet paper, I grabbed that Quran board. It was better than Charmin. It was better than Scotch. It was better than all of them toilet paper brands. If you got a Quran, put it in your bathroom and you will not be disappointed, man. That is the best form of toilet paper. Water, General Mayaka. Y'all better tune in to Ask Ye the Prophets every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. General Mayaka will answer all of your questions. Now, that's what the Quran is used for. Or you can kick it at camp because Islam is garbage.
Right.
Allah is the figment of the imagination of the Arabs. To quote General Mayaka, it's a comic book. That's all it is. And the Quran tells you simple, stupid Negroes in Philadelphia that God's favorite people was the Israelites. It says it in the Quran. It literally says that in the Quran, the car. It does. It does. The Quran says that God's favorite people, the favorite that He gave, you know what I mean, was to Israel, man. That's what our people don't understand. As a matter of fact, can I read that garbage real quick? Because I just happen to have it. While we're on the topic, right? The show and prove that Islam is garbage. I'll go further into it, but I want to read it. This is Second Surah at 122 in the toilet paper Quran. Children of Israel, recall my favor which I bestowed upon you, and I exalted you above the nations of the world. That is Second Surah 1 and 22. So why are you a silly, stupid Muslim? Why are you believing that the Arabs have this higher sense of morality and knowledge when Second Surah 1 and 22 says children of Israel? The children of Israel are blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They're the children of Israel. That's us, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Recall my favor, meaning we are the favorites of God, and I'm going to show you that in the Bible in the next verse. I believe you're going at the read Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Because you just read Deuteronomy 7 and 5. Read Deuteronomy 7 and 6. It says, recall my favor which I bestowed upon you, and I exalted you above the nations of the world. Meaning the world, meaning age societies. We are above these other nations. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. In the Quran, it says that the children of Israel, blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, are favored above all of these different races, including the Arabs who come from Ishmael. Now let me show you that in the Bible. Read the next verse. Announce where you at, Bubba Quashaw, if I could, priest.
Come. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
The God said, for thou art a holy people. When you look holy up, guess what it means? It means to be separate. Holy ain't your stupid grandma with that crazy feathered hat on in church. It ain't your auntie or your mama with that crazy feathered hat on in church. It's not your pastor or your imam with the white robe or gown or dress on. Holy means to be separate. God said, for thou art a holy people. For thou art a separate people. Read on.
Come. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God had chosen thee.
The Lord thy God chose blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That's what it means, which is the Lord thy God have chosen thee. God loves Jacob and hates Esau. Read on.
All right. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
The Lord chose Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians to be what?
A special people.
A what?
A special people.
A special people. 2 Surah 1 and 22 says in the Quran, which is toilet paper, recall my favor which I bestowed upon you and exalted you above the nations of the world. Children of Israel. He said, children of Israel, recall my favor which I bestowed upon you. Meaning in the Quran it says that the Israelites who God restored his favor. I mean, shalom. Why be a Muslim, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and woman? We are the ones that the Lord exalted above the nations of the earth. And let me tell you something, Allah is the figment of the imaginations of the Arabs. You want to know where the Arabs got that from? You want to know why they put it in the Quran? In the Quran, they got it from the Bible. They got it from Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. Because the Lord said, for thou art a holy people, a separate people. That's what holy means. Unto the Lord thy God. We are a separate people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee. Read on.
God, to be a special people unto himself.
To be a special people unto himself. God chose blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That First Nation man and woman, that Latino man and woman, that black man and woman to be a special people. Who's more special than blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians? No one is. We are the greatest people on this earth. Not because we jump higher than everybody else, not because we're faster and stronger or smarter, and we are, but it's because God chose us.
Right.
Read on.
Above all people.
Above what?
All people.
Above what?
Above all people.
We are above all people. It just said that in the Quran in 2 Surah 1 and 22. God said that we were above all people. So why would you go and marry the oppressor's daughter when that black, Latina, and First Nation woman is above all people? When that black man and Latino man and First Nation man is above all people, man. That's the problem with our people thinking it's all right to marry the oppressor and these other nations, man. That's why we can't do that, man. The Lord said we were above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Go ahead, Nicole.
If I could, man, you know, if you're a black, Hispanic, Native American man, you understand, you're a brother, you understand, you sleeping with another nation, you are a traitor to your own people.
That's right.
You understand, like, the brothers is actually leading, you understand, when it deals with interracial relationships and marriages and stuff like that. Like the sisters actually got a good track record with, you know, sticking with their own men. You understand what I'm saying? But as brothers, you know, we
Salaki.
Salaki, sir.
Oh no, we good. Yeah. Con, the what?
You know, like if you're a brother, black, Hispanic, Native American man, and you sleep with another nation, you hate your sisters. You understand? Because you could, instead of you understand, giving protection and correction, you understand, and love to your own sisters.
If I could, young brother.
Hey, keep it down.
You gotta be quiet, young man. Go ahead, Nicole.
You know, instead of you doing that to your own. Doing that, giving that love to your own sisters, man, you're ready to give it to a devil.
Which is terrible, man. Which is terrible because that sister has been down with us since the beginning. And I would say this, man. Our sisters are still rocking out with us, man. That black, Latina, and First Nation woman, they still rocking out with us, man. And especially here in the Isupk, man. These sisters are holding strong, man, in this truth, man. They understood that black, Latino, and First Nation man is the head of the woman. And that the head of man is Christ. And the head of Christ. So like, yeah, and the head of man is Christ. And the head of Christ is the Most High. Sisters understand that, the UPK, man. And the head of that woman is the man. And we are needed, black man, Latino man, First Nation man. We needed to be heads over our households, the head of our women, the head of our children, man. We are definitely needed. That's why we can't abandon our sisters. Sisters, don't turn your back on that Black, Latina, First Nation, and Latino and First Nation man. How dare you turn your back on that brother? How dare you turn your back on that sister, man? All we got is each other and our King Yahweh Shah and our God Yahweh. Read them. As a matter of fact, you can drop that. I pretty much let me get Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 24. Let me go on a little bit more onto my topic, Bubba Quashaw, if nobody got no questions. Yeah, let me get Nehemiah 13 and start at verse 23.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 23. In those days I also saw Jews that had married wives of Ashdod.
Now, Nehemiah is saying, in those days, I saw Jews. Meaning Nehemiah saw Black, Latino, and First Nation men, saw Israelites, read on,
married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab.
Married Africans of Ashdod, and Ammon, who are the Japanese, and Moab of the Chinese. Go ahead, Nicole.
So this was when they was under the Persians.
I believe this was
Nehemiah. He was with Esther and Ezra, right?
If I could, right? Yeah, Nehemiah was in Ezra. I believe this is the time. It's either the Persians or the Medes of Babylon.
Yeah, I think this was the Persians because Esther married
Esther did marry the heathen king.
Yeah, I think
so this might be the Persians and the Medes.
Yeah,
it's either between Babylon or the Persians and the Medes. Don't quote me on that, but I believe you're right. Because after Babylon was the Persians and the Medes.
Yeah.
And you're right, which is heavy, right? Because marrying heathen women. And this ain't something that's new. Because if I could, I was gonna go into it, man. But you let me run on the car. Salakia. In the book of Numbers, right? I believe it's Numbers, the 25th or 27th chapter. There was a brother, the son of Eleazar, of Phanas, I believe, right? He saw, Moses was talking with the Most High because we was marrying the wives of the Medinians, man, and of Moab, marrying the Chinese women and the African women. And one of them silly brothers, right, our people, one of them silly Israelites decided to bring a heathen woman, to bring an African or bring a Chinese woman, bring a heathen woman, period, unto the congregation while the Most High is talking to Moses. While we're all like, man, can this plague stop? What's going on, Lord? And you know what? The son of Eleazar, Phanas, the grandson of Aaron, he was like, man, the hell with this. He went there and got a javelin and pierced the brother and the heathen woman while they was having sex, while they was marrying one another. Because the Lord is not for interracial marriage. That's why the Lord is saying here in Nehemiah, man, in those days I saw Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and Moab. Read on.
In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon and Moab. Verse 24. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language.
Now, here's the thing. When they spoke, when it says, right, and the children spake in half speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language. Now, you got to understand, right? And this is why it's important for every Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman to understand this, especially if you're a brother. When you marry a heathen woman, the woman is naturally the first teacher of the child. Now the child is learning her language. And if you go and marry a Chinese woman, the child is going to be speaking in Chinese. That ni hama, she mi. They're not going to know the Lashawan Kwadash, that Abagada Hawazaha, Tayaka, Lamanasa I, you know what I mean? Patazakwa Rashata. Lord, we ain't going to speak in our language, man. Right. You ain't going to know, our language, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, Salakia, if I botch the alphabet a little bit in the car, Salakia. Understand this. You're not going to know the Lashawan Kwadash. Salakia, if I botched it a little bit. But understand this. Now you're speaking in the half speech of the Africans, of the Persians and the Medes. Now you don't know the Lashawan Kodash. Now you don't know the Hebrew. Read on.
Come. Boom. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and cannot speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of the people of each people.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25, and I contend with them.
Nehemiah said, and I contended with them. Meaning Nehemiah checked these Negroes, man. Nehemiah checked these brothers and sisters, man. Nehemiah went out there to these blacks and Latinos and Native Indians and said, yo, what the hell are y'all doing? He said, what are y'all doing? He checked them. Read on.
Come and curse them.
And cursed them. Meaning was, good night. I don't even want, go ahead.
Come and smoke certain of them.
What does it mean he smoked certain of them? What does that mean? Go ahead, Nicole.
He swung with some of them.
He did more than that. He swung on some. He laid hands on them. You got to understand this, man. You know, this is talking about blacks and Latinos, Native American Indians, man. I need y'all to understand, man. The Carter laid hands with a couple niggas, man. You can forget about it. Read on.
Oh, God.
Like laid hands on them. Like Nehemiah got so upset that he had to grip some of these niggas up and say, what the is you doing, man? Marrying these heathen women. Read on.
And plucked off their hair.
And was pulling, man, Nehemiah was so hardcore. He was plucking their hair off, man. Like Nehemiah was gripping brothers up by their beard. Like, what the? Marrying that heathen woman out is, what's wrong with you? Show some decorum, Ak. The hell is you doing marrying that Chinese woman, that Japanese woman, that African woman, that Persian woman, man? What is wrong with you? Read on.
And made them swear by God, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons.
Ye shall what?
Not give your daughters unto their sons.
What did Nehemiah just do? He quoted the law.
Right.
We just read this in Deuteronomy 7:3. He said, ye should not give your daughters unto their sons, meaning you're not supposed to marry your daughters off unto their sons. Right. You're not supposed to give your daughters unto these heathen men. Right. That's what you're not supposed to do. You shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Right. It's up here in the car, Bubba, for sure. Yeah. You're not supposed to give their daughters unto your sons, nor their sons unto your daughters, nor your sons unto their daughters, or to yourselves. Meaning this, your baby girls, your daughters, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, are not to marry the oppressor's sons and daughters or these other heathens. Their daughters are not supposed to marry our sons, and we're not supposed to marry theirs. Read verse 26.
Verse 26. Did not Solomon the king of Israel sin by these things?
Did not Solomon mess up by these things? Did not Solomon marry daughters of the oppressor of the Edomites, of the Egyptians, of Mizraim, Matazarim, and the Hebrews, the Africans? Did not Pharaoh? Did not Solomon not marry the daughters of Pharaoh, the daughters of the Moabites, who are the Chinese, Pharaoh, the Africans, and the Edomites, who is the oppressor? Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Read on.
Come. Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel.
There was no king like Solomon, man, who was beloved of our God Yahweh, who made him king over all of Israel. Read on.
Come. All right. And nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
Did not outlandish women, meaning did not these heathen women cause him to sin? Meaning we got jammed up by this a while ago, man. This ain't nothing new. It happened to Solomon. It happened during the time of Moses, man. And it's happening today. That's why interracial marriage is a sin according to our God. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. I'm going to close out with Tobit chapter 4 and verse 12. When you go to seek a wife, black man, Latino man, First Nation man, when you go to seek a husband, black woman, Latino woman, and First Nation woman, understand Tobit chapter 4 and verse 12. If I could in the car, Baba Kashaw.
It's the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom.
Beware of all whoredom, my son. Don't be a whore or a whoremonger. Don't be a homosexual. Read on.
And chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy father.
Take a wife of the what?
The seed of thy father.
Take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. Because Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18 confirms we are of the seed of our fathers, and we should take a wife of the seed of our fathers. Meaning, take a wife that's black, Latino, or First Nation woman, man. If you a brother, take a First Nation wife. Take a Latino wife. Take a black wife. If you a sister, take a brother, man. That's black or a Latino brother or a First Nation brother. Read on.
And take not a strange woman.
Take not a strange woman to wife. Don't take the oppressor's wife. Don't take the oppressor's daughter to wife. Don't take the white man's daughter to wife. Don't take the African, or the Asian or the Polynesian or the Arab's man's, woman to wife. Read on.
Which is not of thy father's tribe.
Which is not of thy father's tribe. We have 12 different flavors, man. 12 tribes to the nation of Israel, man. You got Judah all the way down to Issachar. We got that black man in America and Trinidad and Tobago and in Haiti. We got the Dominican, sister and brother. We got that Puerto Rican. We got that, that Argentine to Chile. We got that Brazilian and Colombian. That's, that Honduras and Panamanian and that Mexican. That's the type of woman we got to take the wife. Black, Latino, First Nation man. And if you a sister, that's the type of husband you got to take. Read on.
For we are the children of the prophets.
We are the children of the prophets. Read on.
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. That's where we come from. That's where we stem from. From Noah down to Abraham, down to Isaac, and down to Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, Yasha'Allah, meaning black, Latino, First Nation man and woman. We have to pick from the 12 tribes of Israel, and that's why interracial marriage is a sin. Choose that black man. It's time for that black man to love that black woman again, that Latino man to love that Latina woman again, and for that First Nation man to love that First Nation woman again. We have to choose from our 12 tribes, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And with that being said, I'm Precinct Officer 1000 Yediah, covering the class for Captain of 10,000 at Mogden Charters, the Brotherhood class. Tune in to, the Commander General Yohana every Monday. Black Watch News, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Black Watch every Monday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Commander General Yohana always breaking it down so heavily. Always breaking it down heavily. Bringing out heavy information every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tune in to General Hazayun every Monday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let a Hebrew speak. Tune in to Ask Ye the Prophets. With 12 show General Mayaka Allah every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. With him, myself, and Officer Abad Hayab, man. General Mayaka Allah always breaking it down so heavily. If you have any questions, send them to ashyetheprophets@gmail.com, and General Mayaka will answer your questions. Tune in to Cross the Line Radio with Captain Zariak and Captain Kadazar, with my big brother on the West Coast, Captain 13,000 Gadal Hall, Captain Gadal Hall, and Captain Cromwell Hall, Captain Kadal Hall, Captain Cromwell Hall, and Officer Double One. Tune in to Practical Knowledge every Monday with my brother, Preaching Officer 1000 Double One, and Karat Dazar, man. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the class off to Priest and Officer of 500 in the car.
Most High Christ. Most High Christ. All right, y'all. Let's give it up one more time. All right. So ISUK security announcements. You're the ISUK side out of 1 West on Fishery Hall, New York, and Commander Jimmy Hahn. For new brother and sister, when a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are all been here for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to show themselves in the world. They need transportation and teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if your brother and sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months, which the brother and sister will court each other. After this month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Taj, which is a commandment, you find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, 8 through 10. My Asherah will be 10% in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department, preach for an offering, free will offering, not mandatory, whatever amount you'll like. Coming holy convocation would be the Feast of Purim. That's on the 14th day of the 15th, in the 15th day of the 12th month. That's on a Monday, the 14th February, the 15th. All right. No, it's gonna be that Monday on February 14th, and Tuesday it'll be on the 15th as well. In February of next year on the white man's calendar. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 to 31. All right, Akim, Wafia, make sure you check the bulletin board in the school. If you want to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, headband, and scarf with that Almadra, just a minute. All right, in Israel, we're going to get one quick courtesy salute. In Israel, Mama Shabbat, Almadra, Barak,
Yahweh Shem Shah Barak Thumb.
Yahweh Sorry, face the sisters. All right, we're going to get the sisters one quick courtesy salute. In Israel, Mama Shabbat, Almadra, Barak,
Yahweh Shamar Al Thumb Shem Shah.
Yahweh Classes,